hair loss. Uh, as we all know, hair loss is a big issue, is a big concern all around the world. I can see Mr. Lal is here, who is almost like, shall I take your age, say your age, or don't say your age? There are certain people with like a very good age with very good hair, whereas some other people like they started losing hair at very early age. So it's always like a subject of an anxiety. Yeah. Um, so the anxiety is something which is the first reaction to the hair loss. Okay, so as we always keep saying that hair loss for many years, it was connected to the beauty sector. Like if you're losing the hair, people like always related this to aesthetic uh, and the look and the overall personality. But in recent year, as we started learning more about our health, and we learned that the hair loss is one of the indication. It's one of the indication, like many other vital indication, that there's something is going wrong in our health. Okay, so the question here is, what's going wrong in our health? So again, like whenever we do series, in our series, one of the important part is we always try and encourage people to ask questions. So if you ask questions like, okay, is hair loss bothering me? Obviously, you ask a question aesthetically, then yes, everyone will say yes. But many people, if you say it's bothering you from the health point of view, there are very few people who can relate directly to the health. Like most of the people, they have the hair loss, and if you go on internet and you started Googling, then most of the information comes like, which is very technical and very straightforward. 8, 10 different causes, different kind of causes of hair loss, and everything is there. So summarizing all of them together, one is obviously genetic, which we are not talking again here. In all our seminar, we are not touching the genetic part of it. Last time, we talked about stress and the relationship with the hair loss. Today, we are going to talk about sleep. So like that, there are so many things. There's a metabolism, there's a immunity, there's like inflammation, the hormonal disbalance, toxic load. There's so many reasons like which can directly or indirectly related to hair loss. So today we actually touch the concept that what is the relationship between the sleep and the hair loss. So in order to understand like sleep and hair loss, we all know a basic kind of a conversation when we do about sleeping is we say 7 to 8 hours sleep is a good numbers of hours, right? As we are kid like children or teen, they say like, okay, it's a 8 to 10, 9 to 10 hours sleep is good. But as we get adult and the senior, the sleep hours reduces. So like if we are adult or senior, like say 7 to 8 hours of sleep is considered good. But what is happening here in current days? Uh, we have a lot of sleep disturbance. Okay, so uh, a common layman language, sleep means okay, we go to the bed and we wake up in the morning. Okay, so we consider like the overall time period, like okay, suppose we go to the bed somewhere around 11 p.m. and we wake up at 7. So that's how it is, like 8 hours of sleep. But then what you have to see that when you go to the bed at 11, how long it takes when you just go into the sleep. What is the definition of the sleep means? What is the last time in the bed you remember? And the moment you don't remember, that's the sleep. Okay. So I put it this is a sleep is in a very interesting way, which everyone can understand. When you go to the sleep, next morning, if you have to follow your sleep, you just go and try to see what is the last thing you remember in the bed last night. That is the cut off point, that okay, now after that you went to sleep. And then during this whole sleep, so many things going on. So someone who live very close to the traffic zone, especially with the people, those who are living in the traffic zone or the noisy zone, like a lot of noises are there, a lot of activities are there. So you are in a sleep, but you are still hearing the noise. Okay. A lot of activities are happening. You are in the sleep, the activities are still happening. You are noticing those activities. Your brain is working. You are in a sleep, your brain is still working. The activities are working in the brain. Okay. So there are so many things. So sleep means, okay, brain has gone into the resting situation. It doesn't mean that brain is not registering what is happening around you outside and what is happening inside you. Okay. But this is all going during your sleep. And that is why the sleep is divided into stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the REM sleep. Okay, so that's like we these days we know a lot about sleep and sleep pattern, or you can say the science of sleep. Okay, so sometime like say, okay, you went to sleep and you get a very good sleep for 3 hours, and then suddenly you wake up. Now, when you wake up, you want to go to sleep again. You can go again very quickly, or you struggle. Okay, so what we do, like, especially I want to divide this today between especially a certain category, specifically for the men who are 50 plus, because a lot of men has a prostate problem, so they have to go to urine, uh, and urine disturb a lot of sleep. So that's one condition. Second thing, like there are a lot of people, like they go for the party and they drink at night. What people need to understand that, okay, if you drink a little bit, it's fine, but if you drink more than like for certain amount, because the alcohol is diuric. Diuric means like the water has to go out from the body. So it is considered as a one of the major sleep disturbant ingredient, alcohol. So this is very interesting kind of things. Like when alcohol is high, you get into sleep very fast. But after a few hours, it wakes you up because of its diuric in nature. Means like you have a urge to go to urine. So that's the one condition. The second condition is the prostate people, like for the urine. So these are the two very medical condition with the people where we have a sleep disturbance. And when this sleep disturbance is there, brain started recognizing this kind of pattern, and over the time period, what happened, like brain knows, like, okay, you wake up at that particular time. So brain try to accommodate your uh, disturbance pattern. This is the thing you have to understand, like means brain is actually follow what you are instructing to the brain. So if you have a sleep disturbance, if you are waking up, then brain registered that information and help you to wake up again and again. Okay, so that is the thing, like uh, this is a little bit technical part. If everyone can understand, that's the most beautiful part, because most of the people, they struggle in sleep, and there's a word like, okay, I cannot sleep. So this is the keyword, I cannot sleep. This is a wrong interpretation, because you are giving the message to your brain, I cannot sleep, by which brain is learning, okay, you don't want to sleep. It sounds very strange, but this is the communication between your thought process and your brain. that I can't sleep. I can't sleep means you are giving information, you open the information to your brain, you are not sleeping or you cannot sleep. So brain identify pattern, these are the patches, or these are the time frame when you don't sleep or you wake up. And then brain adopt it and help you to wake up in that particular time period. That is why you see like sleeping problem is always a chronic problem. Okay. If people cannot sleep 1 or 2 days, they never complain. When people started complaining about the sleeping, when they develop a pattern of sleep disturbance, this is the most important part. Like when the people develop a pattern of sleep disturbance, that's where they started realize like, oh, I have a problem of sleeping, right? Now, so this is clear. Yes, Veena, you understand this, what I'm saying? That uh, we, with our own expression of the word, we are giving the information to our brain that we have a sleeping problem. I established there's only two situations in a daily life. One is the people, senior people, male with the prostate problem. They have to go to urination, so they have to wake up. So there's an urge of urine. Second is if people take a lot of alcohol. So alcohol helps them to fall in sleep, but because alcohol is diuretic in nature, after 3-4 hours, it wake you up for the urine. Okay, so that's a first sleep disturbance. Second sleep disturbance is a thought process or like a stress. If your brain is under stress, what does that mean? There's some kind of things going on in your brain, thinking process, right? Some kind of thoughts is going on. Now, this thought may be like, take a scenario that you are not sleeping, you are working, right? So during certain part of your work, you think like, okay, this is fine, this is fine, this is fine, but suddenly your brain started working very active. Okay, so this is, I'm talking when you are not sleeping. When you are awake and you're working 4 or 5 hours, your brain doesn't work like this in 4 or 5 hours. Sometimes it's very active, sometimes slow down, and like that. So it's a constantly like more active, less active, more active, less active, like that. So when people are in a stress or something they are thinking exactly happen in the sleep. So there are 2-3 situations. One, you get into the sleep and you are sleeping, so you have no problem in sleeping. But then the moment it 2-3 hours completed, you wake up, because that's that part time when the brain activities are very active and it wakes you up. And the moment it wakes you up, you can't sleep anymore. Okay, that's the another condition. So in this condition, what is happening when you go to the bed? No problem, you can sleep. But then you wakes up after a few hours. Okay, that's another situation. This is the situation what happened. Like many people go to sleep, they sleep 3-4 hours and wake up middle of the night. Middle of the night. So then they struggle a lot of 3-4 hours in the morning. So then they have no choice, but they have like wake up very early. So there is an early riser. Okay. If you started talking to a lot of early riser, you will find many of them have a sleeping disorder. They go to the bed very early, they get a sleeping very fast, but their sleep break in the middle of the night. And then they can't sleep anymore. So they struggle in the bed for 2 hours. And by the time, as soon as they see the sunlight, they wake up. Okay. So not every early riser is a genuine early riser. Many early riser are actually the patient or the suffering of the sleep deprivation, where they wake up middle of the night or early morning, and then they wake up, right? And then they can't sleep anymore. Now, another situation, there are a lot of people, they just can't sleep. They go to the bed and their brain is so active, they don't fall in sleep at all. So these are the people, they claim like, I can't sleep. Okay, so this type of sleeping pattern is very different from the other sleep pattern I spoke, just shared with you. So this sleeping pattern, what happened? You uh, go to the bed, but due to so many distraction, whether internal or external, you can't fall asleep. And when you can't fall asleep, you are struggling. And in this kind of things, what happens? The people get sleep after 3, 4, or 5 hours. Is a huge struggle to get a sleep. So you get like a 1 or 2 hours of sleep. Everyone get a sleep, but you get a sleep in the morning hours. But then again, by the time you wake up, you don't feel very good. Okay, so these are like many different kind of sleeping pattern. The good sleeping pattern is when you go to the bed, you get into the sleep. Even if you have to get up in between, in the middle of the night, you can go back again into the sleep quickly. That's called the good sleep. So today I'm not talking about very technicality because it's not a topic about sleeping. It's a hair loss and sleeping. So I try to establish like a different kind of sleeping disorder so people can understand there's not a single one sleeping disorder. There's so many multiple pattern of the sleeping problem. Okay. Now again, the another problem what people have to understand, some people have a habit of working late at night. And then they sleep late and they wake up very late. So usual time, like there's a very large number of the population around the world who wake up like after 9 a.m. They wake up somewhere around 9, 10, 10:30. So this is the thing people need to understand. The world is divided into so many different kind of category of the people. There's a category of the people like who wake up between the 6 to 7 a.m. There's a lot of people wake up between the 7 to like 8 a.m. and then like that. So so the whole world is waking up not in one go. Okay, so there's a large number of the people who wake up like early just because they have to go to the offices or they have a something engagement over there, right? Now for a moment ask these people, hey, how long you sleep when you don't have to go to the office? That's where it is artificial. So what we don't talk with the people or what we don't talk with each other is, what is your sleeping routine during weekdays and what is your sleeping routine during weekend? If this sleeping routine change, that's not a good lifestyle. It means when the person is waking up early in the morning, it's a forceful wake up. It's not a part of lifestyle. If it is a part of the lifestyle, even during the weekend, the person will wake up at the same time. But usually most of the people who wake up very early in the morning, they sleep up to 10, 10:30, 11, 12, even sometime up to afternoon during weekend. This is a thing you have to understand. So this is like a kind of a journal scenario of the sleep pattern. Okay. Now what happened, like I mentioned in my some of the previous seminar, sleep is a kind of there's a hormone called melanin in a brain which induce the sleeping. Okay, so like the way the life cycle is designed, that the whole day when we are working and when we are sleeping. Now let's understand what is the sleeping means. Sleeping means there is a word called, okay, resting and sleeping. Okay, so what is the difference between a rest and sleep? When we are resting, we are physically resting. We are not biologically resting. Sleep is a condition where we are biologically resting. What is the difference between the physical resting and biological resting? In the physical resting, our physical movement reduce. We make our physical movement zero. Like all of us, Mr. Lal is lying very nicely on sofa and very good, like right. That's great. But right now, the liver is working, the kidney is working, the pancreas is working. All body organs are working. Okay. Even though physically you are not moving, but the all body functions, they are working properly. They are doing their job. Heart is beating and everything. But when we sleep, because when the brain shut down, it gives the instruction to whole body to shut down. That is why, like, your liver is not working, your kidney is not working, nothing is working except even the heart slow down very much. Everything goes down. That's the beauty, right? So because even like our organ, they have to work, so they are working, we have to give them the rest. So when we are in a deep sleep, so what is the why we say, like, okay, sleeping, don't see sleeping with your mood only. The 6 to 8 hours of a proper sleeping is required in order to give the rest to your brain, but as well as all the organ of the bodies, and also to your heart. You remember, like, every one of us, our heart need to beat throughout our life. When we are awake, usually the heart is beating over 70 to 80, 90. As soon as we do, like, as we do any physical activities, heart started working a lot. So with the sleep, we compensate the workload of the heart. With the sleep, we compensate the workload of the organ. Now I'm slowly entering into the point, the message which I want to convey today. So this is the message. See, if we are sleeping properly, all our body organ is getting rest. So when during the day we are eating food, we are doing physical activity, so they can work as a maximum optimum level. Now, due to lack of sleep, what is happening during day, the body organs are working, and when at night, when you are not sleeping, your body organ is also working. So when you have a daytime body organs working, nighttime body organs working, so like out of 24 hours, 20 hours your body organs are working. So what happened over the time period, the body organs started getting fatigue. And this fatigue manifests in different kind of abnormality in the function. So like, for example, we do the blood test, and blood test, one thing called LFT, liver function test. We find out like whether the liver is functioning properly, whether kidney is functioning properly. These are the functions, right? Our every organ has to function. So when our organ go on a load or a stress, their function disbalance, and sometimes they get into the disease also. Now here it is a relationship. The moment it started getting a different organ, so again, everything end up in a one door. Okay, so this is the beauty, that everything end up in a one door. How? Though we are talking today about sleep, yesterday we are talking, the few days back we were talking about stress, but now lack of sleep has put us where? In the stress. So now this time the cause is sleeping, but we enter into the stress zone. And the moment we enter in the stress zone, two things happen again. The organ load is very high, the function change, and then the cortisol increase. And we mentioned the last time, as soon as the cortisol level go up, hair start falling. The first thing of the cortisol is it attack hairs. Okay, so ultimately whatever happening when cortisol is produced, the time when your body is in a stress. This stress can be sleep induced. This stress can be your extremely physical activity induced. Stress can be induced through indigestion. Stress can be induced through the toxicity. Stress can be induced through the anxiety, fear. Doesn't matter. There's so many ways, but ultimately it introduces stress. So when someone's hair is falling, it's very clear that they are highly stressed. Now we have to diagnose whether this stress is coming from indigestion, this stress coming from hormonal disbalance, this stress is coming from metabolic disturbance, this stress is coming from anxiety, this stress is coming from fear, or this stress is coming from sleep deprivation. Okay, so all these topics are the layer 2. So hair fall immediately relate to stress, cortisol level. So stress, cortisol. Next test is what are the causes. So causes can be many, and that's where people not able to understand. So let's put this in this way. Stress and sleep are related to each other. Hair fall, stress and sleep are related to each other. Indigestion, stress, sleep, hair fall related to each other. So many people have many different conditions. There's not a single conditions. So many people may not have a hair fall, say for example, but they have a sleeping problem. The sleeping problem, why? Because of what I explained. It may be indigestion, it can be fear, it can be so many things which affect the whole cognitive function of the brain. Okay. Another very big reason of hair fall. This is very interesting thing which I'm going to share with you. If you meet any person who are suffering from the hair fall, you ask the one simple question, which is a magic question, that what is your IQ or memory? Okay. And I assure you, every person will give you answer, yes, their memory is affected. Okay. So the hair fall and memory has a very strong relationship. What happens when there is a sleep deprivation? Sleep deprivation has a lot of impact on the cognitive function. Okay. This is one thing. So that's how you have to understand cognitive function. What is the cognitive function? The attention of your brain. First is obviously like attention capacity. So if you have a sleep disorder, you cannot pay attention to someone's talk or something like that. You can't focus, right? So that's the one thing. The gap between is starting something and end something, right? So you start something and you want to do, and there's a task and you end. What happened? There's a lapses in between. This is another indication, right? You cannot remember the things. So it called like a working memory. So first is the focus, second is the working memory. We all can perform our task. Who are the good performer? The good performer always have a good working memory. because the stronger is your working memory, you can do faster, you can work faster. If the working memory is affected, your work performance gets slow because you have to recall everything and then you have to push like that. Okay. Third thing, third cognitive things which happen, which affect the memory, which happen during due to the sleeping thing, is the reaction time period. Some people like they react very slowly. They heard everything and all those kind of things, and then it's a, let's call it slow motion. You will find many people in your life is a very slow motion kind of people. So this is another cognitive thing. So when you see the person is slow, it means like the person have a sleeping problem kind of things. Now, so what happened, like all this start releasing certain kind of hormone to balance all this kind of thing. So when I'm not taking the name of this hormone, but when these hormones and the adjustment is going on, it create a too much imbalance into the follicle area of the hair, which immediately make hair fall. Okay, so that's kind of thing. So there's some kind of different kind of chemical reaction going on or biochemistry going on in the body to adjust your cognitive behavior, and that's make your hair fall. So one of the word we use technically, it's called memory consolidation. Okay, so this is one of the things which we call the rapid assessment. So any person who has a hair fall, we use a technique called memory consolidation. What is the memory consolidation? That you ask that person few questions which is not related to each other. That, for example, what that person has done during the whole day, or what that person has done during the whole week. And you will find that that person find it very difficult to connect the dots. And if that person is very difficult to connect the dots, so it's an indication for you that this person hair loss is definitely due to lack of sleep. Okay, so there's, as I said, there's so many things that can be indigestion, there can be metabolism, there's like a hormone disbalance and so many kind of things. But how to find out that your hair loss or someone's hair loss is due to the lack of the sleep? So one of the things which we use is called memory consolidation. How to test the memory consolidation? You ask this person many questions like, okay, what you have done during the whole day, what you have done yesterday, what you have done in the whole week, and then the very thing you can see that person is not able to connect the dots. Okay, and when the person is not able to connect the dots, it's a very clear-cut case, like it's a memory sleeping deprivation case here, like that, right? Now, the another thing is the importance of the sleep. I would like to say, you all heard about this. Most of the heart attacks never happen during daytime. Most of the heart attacks happen during the sleep, early morning hours. So this is the thing people need to understand. People are sleeping, right? But then sleeping has different stage and everything, which start making your body preparing again for the next day. So what happened, like when we go into like preparation mode, that's where the brain started working already. We are sleeping, but the brain start working. And that is why like the blood pressure goes up, the heartbeat started. So when we are sleeping, the heartbeats are really slow, blood pressure is really slow. So most of the time what happened, like when the body started preparing, the brain wake up, like the heartbeat started going up, the blood pressure is going up, and then it is too much, and it make like a person collapse in the sleep. So everyone has to understand, don't take the definition of the sleep means you are sleeping. From today onward, ask this question: are you biologically sleeping, or are you physically sleeping? Physically sleeping means your body in the zero movement situation. It's resting situation. So all of us, we need a biological sleeping in order to get a good health. So this is the difference between the biological sleeping and physical sleeping. Now, hair fall. Hair is basically nothing but is a keratin, is a kind of a dead cell. So if you say like the hair is a dead cell, is a nails and hairs, these are the keratin. And if we compare this thing, like if we see like the prawns or the sea creatures, so like say the prawns, okay, shrimp, they have the shell on a top of it, or the crab, they have a shell. It's a small kind of thing, there's a cartilage. Okay, these are the things which is dead, means it doesn't have a nerve or anything kind of thing. So these are the cells, but they are the dead cells without nerve. The only live part of this is the hair follicle at the bottom. Okay, rest is all dead. So hair follicle is responsible for hair to grow. So it doesn't matter how your hair look outside. Obviously, it shows your hair quality. But the whole thing is depending on the quality of the hair follicles, right? So whenever you have sleeping problem, whenever you have like this indigestion problem, metabolic problem, whatever problem is, it directly affecting the hair follicles. So how to maintain the follicle health? So this is the another language. So instead of just talking about the hair health, let's talk how to maintain your follicle health. If you know how to maintain the follicle health, you can have a good solution with the sleeping quality and the hair follicle quality. So again, the way we have a good liver, we have a good pancreas, we have good kidney, the same way we need to have a good follicle. So I'm changing the vocabulary. So instead of saying, okay, I have a good hair, I said, no, if you want to have a good hair, you want to have a good follicle. If you have a good follicle, you don't have to worry about your hair. Okay. So we treat our hair as a medium, because by hair, ultimately we are putting the nourishment to the follicle. So the follicle is always getting the nourishment from inside. Okay. So sleeping deprivation, again, it has a chain reaction. It creates stress, it creates metabolic disorder, it creates indigestion, and due to the indigestion, many important nutrient is not able to reach to the hair follicle. So the hair follicle get nutritionally deprived. So now this is the relationship. So I established a kind of a cycle over here, that how sleeping is related to stress, how stress is related to different kind of body function, including indigestion. So when the indigestion is coming, then the nutrition is not reaching to your cell properly. So now there are two situations created finally. One, your cortisol level is very high, and so that's damaged the follicle. And second is, if you have a good follicle, it's not getting enough nutrient, so the follicle over the time period become malnourished. And when the follicle become malnourished, it die. It basically drop down. So this is a very simple theory of the hair fall in a layman language. Even like you explain this to any person, they can understand it, right? So that was the topic today, and to touch that area. Thanks, Veena.
So thank you, Dr. Sanjay, for making that really simple to understand. So If anyone has any questions, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your questions now. We'll take this for another 10 minutes before we close the session. Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. So we were talking about follicle health. So also, hair naturally also sheds every single day.
Yes.
Is that common?
Yes, very common, because what is happening is because follicle is the main thing. So it's not necessary, like, okay, I give you in this way, like when you plant a seed or a flower plant, like takes a flower, or okay, I give it the much better example. Take the grass. Okay, grass is the better example. So grass, compare the grass with the hair. So when we put the grass seed, not all the leaf of the grass of the same height. Some remain very small, some grow very tall, and all those kind of things. But when we cut it from the lawn mower, that's where we can see a grass mat. But when you don't cut a grass, right, you go into the wild place, what you will see, some grass is really very long, some is very short, all those kind of things. So it depends on different seed of the grass is giving. This is exactly situation with the hair. Not every hair follicle is growing the same height of the hair. It looks same because we manage our hair through the haircut. For a moment, you forget about the haircut. And then this is the very interesting thing. You will notice that, wow, the follicles are not same. So follicle change a lot, right? So this is the kind of, like, it shows that the health of every follicle is not same. Some are stronger, some are weaker. And also the location of the follicles. And that is why, like you say, the pattern baldness and all those kind of things, because certain area is like more protected follicles as compared to more exposed follicle. So this is a very simple answer, that every follicle is not the same. So follicle compete with each other for the nutrition. So that is why what happened, like this oil theory, okay, the oil massage theory in the brain is developed to provide equal opportunity for every follicle to absorb kind of like the fuel for themselves. Because when it is going from inside through the nutrition, it's a by default, like depends on the which follicle is stronger and picking up the nutrition. So therefore, this is very important that it is an outer and inner combination of the nutritional support. Only inner nutritional support, again, will only give the strength to your stronger follicles. It's like that. So it has to be outer, inner, both.
Yeah. So, so when we're talking about sleep, so there are a lot of people who tend to have different patterns of sleep. Are there, since we've been talking about Indian medicinal plants, are there any supplements that you recommend that would be good?
See, basically what is happening, like, as we say, sleep is nothing but is calming down or relax or slowing down kind of things. So in our Indian medicinal plant, very well studied, there are so many of them, basically, which help. So let's put in this way, one is a calming herbs. Okay. So we, as I mentioned today also, the consolidation of the memory. So ashwagandha, everyone knows, for many, many years is equivalent to a ginseng. Okay. So whether it is a ginseng or ashwagandha, is the same kind of herbs, which has a lot of benefit for calming down our brain, slowing down our brain. Okay. So the whole idea is our brain is keep constantly working very fast. It allow you to slow down. Brahmi, very well known. There are two type of Brahmi. One is grow in the water, one grow like in a land. But the function of both the Brahmis are same. It enhance your memory system. Okay. So when your memory is working properly, when your brain is calming down, so then you do not have that stress factor which can cause you the sleep problem. So you enhance your sleep, and when you enhance your sleep, you reduce your hair fall. So I think like any people, those who have like the serious hair fall problem, if you give them ashwagandha and brahmi, you can see that certain differences very clearly. So this is like for the calming down. But then there is like a lot of herbs, like for example amla is there. Okay. uh, because it's the vitamin. Spirulina is there. The spirulina has like a lot of nutrient inside it. uh, a lot of actually Indian herbs is a phytosterol, like it's like a plant-based hormone, you can say. Okay. We have a lot of like antibacterial kind of things, for example neem kind of stuff. Then we have an antiseptic or anti-inflammatory like a turmeric kind of stuff. So there's a lot of like the huge variety of things which works in the combination. Okay. So let's understand in this way: two herbs which works for the brain, which is ashwagandha and brahmi, and rest of the herbs work for rest of the body function. And when you give like a concoction of these herbs together along with certain oils, because as I said, like there's a competition between follicles, therefore the oil therapy is must, or external therapy is must, because you allow artificially for every follicle to get enough nutrition. Okay. So this is the answer. So you can choose so many different kind of supplements or Indian herbs to, and divide them into two part. One is brain part and second is the overall nutrition part. So brain ashwagandha brahmi, and the all other is for anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, vitamin C or other nutrient kind of things.
So are you saying that it's very important not just to give the brain food, but it's very important to give overall nutrition combination to be boosting up immunity, to improve the digestion. Have to give a combination of anti-inflammatories, antibacterials, everything put together so that we are making sure that all the body is functioning properly.
This is must, because see actually what happened, like a very good example I want to give related to the same thing. During corona time period, people need to find out, doctors need to find out whether you are infected with corona or not. And if you are infected with like this COVID-19, they are treating you, because right now we don't have a vaccine. Okay. So but when we have a vaccine, you will treat it with that particular vaccine. So what happened, first they diagnose. So same like bird flu or influenza, this and that, you are diagnosed like what is the thing, and then you get an antidote. But mostly what is happening these days, a bad practice. Over the time period, we always exploit, and that bad things become worse. And one of the example is called cocktail therapy. When we get a flu or the fever, we go to see a doctor. Doctor never test us which bacteria or viruses is causing us. What they do, they give us a combination of few antibiotics. So the idea is like this antibiotics is like that, that doesn't matter whatever the bacteria, all will die, right? So same here, what we call in hair treatment, antibiotics are not good for the health. That is why we need to take a precaution. But cocktail nutrition therapy is a harmless for the body. So for the hair loss, it is very useful that instead of going and finding out what is happening, you put them the whole range of the nutrition together. And when all the nutrition is going together, so you see how beautiful it is. We are saying like, okay, we do the brain calming thing, ashwagandha. We are doing memory enhancing Brahmi. We are putting amla kind of things, vitamin C, stuff like that. We are trying to put like anti-inflammatory. We try to put like antiseptic. We try to put antibacterial, anti this, anti that, lot of there. And then we try to put a lot of like spirulina kind of things with like a multi mineral, multivitamin, multi amino acids, and all those kind of things. So this is like called the cocktail nutritional therapy, and definitely it's going to work. So to me is, if people use the cocktail nutritional therapy along with the oil therapy, and then I'm explaining here why oil therapy is so important, because it allow your every follicle to get equal opportunity to the nutrition, right? And then that is why with oil therapy, that is why it brings to the good shampoo and the like the like other kind of like hair products. Why? Because it allow you to give opportunity to every follicle. So if the person, those who are going through the hair loss or other problem, if they understand that I have to give the equal opportunity to my every follicle, that person can deal with the hair loss much better.
Yes, excellent. So basically, taking care of hair and health internally and externally is very, very important.
Yes, it is.
Because I mean, I have seen a lot of people, they just tend to just go to find some anti-color shampoos, and they're just trying to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars over there and really not getting any solution. So this is
Yes.
a very integral way of making sure that you're giving nutrition inside and outside, and making, what else, just last question, what else do you think is very important to take care of when one is choosing supplements or choosing shampoos or hair products like that? What is what?
See again, like means, as I said, like I gave the example of antibiotic. Okay, so antibiotic is not good for the body. Okay, so we heard like we try to avoid antibiotic, but then sometimes it's no choice. We have to take antibiotic because we have to kill. So usually the standard procedure is one should identify what bacteria and viruses is there and then give the antidote. But usually doctors don't do that. They don't identify all this. They give the cocktail therapy. But because it is a medicine, it's bad for the body. So what I explained, we use the cocktail nutritional therapy because nutrition will not harm you. But then again, what can harm you in the nutrition? If the nutrition is it itself is polluted or contaminated. Okay, so here is the theory is, if the ashwagandha is pure, if brahmi is pure, if all other stuff is pure, then you are getting the nutrition. But imagine that if it is not pure, it has a lot of artificial color, it has artificial flavor, like smell, like put the perfume. Perfume is not good for the most of the perfumes are not good for the health actually. Then preservatives, fertilizer, pesticide, insecticide. So we are falsely satisfying ourselves that hey, we are putting a nice shampoo and nice nutrient and all those kind of things, but in reality we are bombarding our hair with a lot of like these chemicals, right? So that's what the people get more in trouble, that they just can't see, because unless something, see, all this cosmetics which is very beautiful, smooth, and all this, you can't make it unless you put a lot of chemical. So sometime in order to make so beautiful, silky, smooth, nice smell, feeling, and all those kind of things, you have to use a lot of chemical, and that's where the human being get misled. Okay, so it's the idea is like, yes, it has to be like more organic, natural, pure, uh, and one must know that whatever they are using, it should be free from chemicals. and I would say more specifically, free from harmful chemicals. So if we do this, then our hair is actually getting internal and external nutritional therapy both way.
Wonderful. Somebody is just asking what kind of ingredient we have to avoid specifically in shampoos when we choose shampoos.
Oh, there is a lot of things like the first one is obviously is the paraben. Paraben is like as one of the most common one, and this is very surprising thing. You go in any shop and you pick up any good shampoo you like, and you will see there is a paraben written over here. So this is the again major mistake we are doing. Okay, that we know that paraben are not good. SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate, is not good, but then people are buying all the things. So there are kind of things. Then there's a mineral oils. A lot of oils are used, which is like a mining product. That's not good for kind of thing. So there's a huge list. It is itself is a complete separate topic, like the chemicals to avoid in cosmetics. Okay, it's like but yes, in a first glance I would say paraben and SLS, these kind of minerals oils, this kind of thing should be avoided. And then do not get fooled by uh, 100% natural or organic. Look at whether it's the whole formula is natural and organic, or only active ingredients are. Sometimes it's very tricky writing, like people write like, okay, 100% natural, but then you see it's only active ingredients which are 100% natural, but the other thing is the base is the chemical, right? So there is a way. It's a very separate topic, like in detail, but in short it's like this.
Good. So thank you so much for this wonderful session today. I don't think we have any more questions.
Yes,
Thank you
thank you.
everyone for attending this session. Naveda Wellness is very well known to make sure that all our products and services are integral in nature, combining nature and science. Also that everything is quality assured, quality audited, and 100% safe and 100% natural. So if any one of you are suffering from any form of hair loss issues, do contact us. We do have integral solutions inside out. All right. So
Thank you.
so much, and we will have a restorative yoga session tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. to improve your sleep. So most welcome to join. I will be sending out invitations, and it will be a Facebook Live session as well. Okay, so thank you everybody. Good night and have wonderful sleep today.
Good night. Good night.